So I'll begin with the countries that this research was conducted. The countries sampled included Botswana, Cameroon, Chad, Congo, Brazzaville, Cote d'Ivoire, Ethiopia, Gabon, Ghana, Kenya, Malawi, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda, South Africa, Tanzania, and then Zambia. And the ages that they engaged with are from 18 to 24 years. So they did 5,604 face-to-face interviews with these country nationals, and the ratio was 50-50 between men, like males and females.
So meaning that they spoke to about
2,802
males and
yeah.
2,802 females.
Yeah.
And the countries, I think it's wide range. Botswana, East Africa, Cameroon, depending on where you stand, is either Central or West Africa. Chad, I don't know for Chad. I forgot my social studies.
Chad is just above West Africa, so I don't know if are they part of North Africa.
Chad, let me quickly check because maybe a student is listening. Then let me check. Chad will be. I know Congo is Central Africa. Congo Brazzaville is Central Africa. Yes, Chad is also Central Africa. Okay. Then we go to Ethiopia. Ethiopia is in the Maghreb. Or?
No, Ethiopia is close to the Horn.
The Horn of Africa.
Yeah.
So Ethiopia will be East Africa. Ethiopia is East Africa. Yeah. Cote d'Ivoire, we know, is West Africa. Yeah. Gabon is also East. Ghana is West. Yeah. Kenya is East. Malawi is East. Namibia is East. Nigeria is...
Namibia is South.
Namibia is South.
Yeah.
Yes, Namibia, South Africa, yes, South. Yeah. Namibia, Lesotho, yes.
And Botswana and South Africa, Zambia, all
Botswana is East Africa.
You sure?
Are you looking at the Ghana map?
This one.
Botswana, Southern Africa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you are looking at the Masa, you are making me. Okay, you have the map. Okay, so when I say that, maybe we educate.
Yeah.
So Rwanda is where?
Rwanda should be Central Africa.
Central Africa.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rwanda is Central.
The
Africa.
Nigeria, we know them.
Yeah, West Africa. Yeah.
South Africa, South.
Yeah.
Tanzania is East.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Zambia is what, East, right?
Yeah, Zambia is East. Ethiopia is also East. Kenya is East.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. So it's a broad spectrum of youth that they spoke to. And they spoke to 5,604 of them, 50-50 population, and it was face-to-face interview. So not that they were doing Google
and the age range was from 18 to 24 years.
Okay. And they spoke on several issues, about 12 thematic areas. Mm-hmm. Can you share with us some of the thematic areas they say? I know the first one was Afro-optimism.
Yeah. Let me quickly go through this one here. It says... So the first one was Afro-optimism, which was the overall attitudes, and they said it remains negative about the direction of the continent and individual countries and their national economies, but there are small improvements following dips, during the COVID time and all. So the second point was international influence on Africa. So they said 7 in 10 remained concerned about the influence of foreign powers, with China and the U.S. Seem to have the greatest influence, though many view it positively. For China, positivity is driven by affordable products and investments in infrastructure, while those who see the U.S.'s influence as positive point to economic support, which they offer. So
so 7 out of 10 youth in Africa are concerned about the way foreign countries are coming into
in,
but they are happy with how China is providing infrastructure and the cheap product. And they're also happy with the US because of the economic handouts they give to us.
They give to us, So on the third point, they said Africa's role on the global stage. So you are looking for the youth are looking for their leaders to balance addressing domestic issues with increasing their country's global influence. So something that I really ascribe to. So most think that their leaders have a voice that can drive change on the global stage and want to see that in action.
They want more of their president to go to the UNs, go to this.
Sometimes it's not about all these organizations they form, and then when it's toothless. You do want to see real action on the stage and make inroads into what is really bothering us and how we can solve them. The fourth point, they said democracy and government. So the vast majority continue to support democracy, but a growing proportion say that sometimes non-democratic systems are preferable and that African countries need to design their own democratic structures.
This is dangerous. So here, what Leo is doing is that Leo is taking us through the general pulse of the African youth in these countries. We come to the Ghana bits later, but this is the general. And Leo, read what you said again. It says the fourth one.
The vast majority continue to support democracy. We all do.
Which is a plus.
But a growing proportion say that sometimes non-democratic systems are preferable.
And that is dangerous. So stand there.
Yeah.
We all know the wave of coups in West Africa, in some part of East Africa. I mean, Mali is gone. Guinea is gone. Burkina Faso, Niger, Gabon, and all that.
And we saw the ripple effects.
Yes, so if you have a section of the youth trying to think that the democracy we have is not enough, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And I think that our leaders must look at some of these reports. And let's not forget that when we analyze the 2024 Afrobarometer Democracy at Risk survey, the polls reflect some of these things. So now let's go to the fifth one.
Okay, right. It says quality of life and living standards.
I think that's where most people are interested.
Yes. It says perceived standards of living bounce back to 2020 levels, with 2 in 5 saying their standards is good or very good. And most continue to expect it to be better in 2 years, with 3/4 saying that they will have a better life than their parents. However, there continues to be this widespread dissatisfaction with governments and efforts to reduce poverty and tackle rising costs. And satisfaction with nearly all government services is up from 2022, but down from 2020.
So they are not happy with the way government institutions are operating. And when you pick 5 youth in Africa, 2 of them are the ones that say that their standard of living is okay.
Yeah.
So that is 4 out of 10. So that is 40%.
Yeah.
So it's the 60% who do not have good standards of living.
Number 6, it says future ambitions. So 4 in 5 continue to say they know what they want to do with their life, and future family plans are stable too, with 7 in 10 planning on having fewer children than their parents, starting a family later and getting married later.
Okay, so most youth are family oriented. They want to have lesser children compared to their parents.
So basically they want to have a better life than what their parents did. And if you're a young person and you have plans like that, I think it's a plus.
It's now the 7th one is about corruption.
Yes. So reducing government corruption is seen as the key priority to progressing the continent. So 4 in 5 are worried about corruption in their country, with high levels of concern about corruption in government, in business, and the police. So most are dissatisfied with efforts to tackle corruption, and there is a widespread support for range of policies to address it. And this includes a police task force, includes tougher penalties, and banning those who are convicted of corruption from standing in public office.
So read that the first line for me again.
It says, reducing government corruption is seen as the key priority to progressing the continent.
You see, so the African youth, including Ghanaian youth, believe that corruption is at the apex, and that if we want to leapfrog our democracy into meaningful development, we need to tackle corruption. And it includes barring people who are corrupt from holding public offices, include those engaging in galamsey.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now here we are when they are cleared.
Let's go to, let me pick because of time. Let's go. Okay, let's do all. Let's go to 8, which is safety and security.
Yes, safety and security. It says 2 in 5 are satisfied with the police and security services, and a quarter say that they or a family member have been a victim of crime in the past 5 years. Most think penalties and punishments are about right, but a third say that they are not harsh enough. Only half say that they are equal before the law, and 3/4 are worried about gender-based violence and the lack of protection for women's rights. Most also want more protection for minority communities. Only a third say this for the alphabet community. And 3 in 5 are confident in the government's ability to deal with terrorism and then insurgency. 3 in 5 are confident with government ability to deal with that, but it is felt to be more impacting their lives in many markets, with noticeable increases in those who know someone who supports or has been approached by a terror group, or have been approached by, has made the approach themselves.
There's an interesting thing you read there. 3/4 are what, dissatisfied of what? Gender-based.
Yeah.
So 75% of African youth are not happy with gender-based violence.
Yeah.
Very, very important.
Yeah.
Again, the first one you read, Read that one for the first line. The first
line, it says 2 in 5 are satisfied with the police and security services, and a quarter say that they or a family member have been a victim of a crime in the past.
And it went on to talk about they feeling they are not equal before the law.
The
Half
law,
of them.
yeah,
So 50% of African youth between 18 and 24, surveyed, believe that there's no rule of law. There's no fairness and equity at law.
Yeah, and they think most punishments are not right. They think, but a third say that they are not harsh enough. The punishments are okay, but they are not harsh enough.
It kind of feeds a little bit into the conversation you're having on the news, the online review, that if I feel the law is not tight enough, if I feel there's no equality at the law, I'll take matters into my own hands. Especially when 2 out of 5 only trust the police. And let's not forget, Ghana, when you read the Afrobarometer again, and I always compare the data because they almost speak the same language, that more people are not trusting the police service now than 20 years ago. So if you're a police institution, you clearly must have a look at this data. Now, when you go to the...
Should we go to immigration or environment?
No, let's do environment, which is the 9th one. Let's do environment.
So 3/4 are concerned about climate change.
75%.
Yeah. But less than half are satisfied with efforts to address it. And 4 in 5 say their government needs to be doing more to address it across a range of measures. So the top barriers to achieving global warming targets are seen to be taking too much time on the consensus building over the actions that are needed to be taken. And then, the governments are failing to take action and low international interest and all of that. So 7 in 10 are worried about plastic waste. Yeah.
The manifestos.
Yeah.
I think that if this report had come earlier, we would have, when we can do it, we can still do it. We can still find a weekend meet over some drinks and then put it together. So when you look at the environment issue, for example, they are raising 75% of the respondents are not happy with the way we are managing the environment. Over 50% of them are not happy with the policies being implemented to fight it.
Yeah.
And also the plastic waste, what's the number there?
Yeah, that's 7 in 10.
So 7 in 10, 70% of the respondents.
And interestingly, we're talking about how we are polluting our waters.
Yeah.
And with Galamsey. So it says African youth are most concerned by water scarcity, with 3/4 at 76% report being very or somewhat concerned, and 2 in 5 youth now report spending more than a quarter of their income on accessing clean water, which is a significant increase from 2022.
So it tells you that it's not just a Ghana problem when you're talking about the Galamsey, and also how you're treating the environment. So generally, Africa will be getting hotter. So, as you said, the Wiani Bo, because you are destroying vegetation. You are destroying wetlands, which are natural carbon sinks, which are natural absorbers of the heat. You are depleting the ozone layer. So it's not just an African problem, a Ghana problem. So it's an African problem where 75% are unhappy about what is happening. Now let's go to this one. And I think this one also interests a lot of people. Now the 10th one, which is the immigration.
Yeah. So it says 2/3 are concerned about immigration and asylum. And only 2 in 5 are satisfied with government efforts to tackle illegal immigration. 3 in 5 say that illegal immigration negatively impacts their country in various ways, such as diverting government resources and driving them up, while most say their country has a moral obligation to accept refugees. And a third of them also disagree with this.
Okay. Now the 11th one is about technology.
So 4 in 5 say that internet connectivity is a fundamental human right. But only 2 in 3.
Zs.
Yes.
So meaning that 80% of the respondents, which is a reflective of the youthful population in Africa, believes that internet should be a fundamental human right. Remember the Kenyan demonstration?
Yes.
The mobilization was done on X,
Twitter.
And they all amalgamated and came together and did what they did.
Yeah.
And at least we saw some fruit from that.
Yeah, I mean, it has been interesting to see how the internet has played into political, events around the world lately. Yeah. And how it works.
Yeah.
Is
in fact, even the storming of the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah, it was
also sex.
I remember Erdogan, the Turkish president who was
prime minister
who was almost overthrown. Yeah. And then he used social media and called people out.
Yeah. In fact, when you're even limiting it to the African perspective, for the first time, Ruto Dr. William Ruto, the president of Kenya, did an X. X space.
Space where everybody was on it. I mean, isn't it great how you could have that direct interaction with the president?
Do it. I don't know why they shouldn't do it.
They should be doing all these things.
Come to KNUS and say that master security for art for Mumra, and then Hamo. Then the president opens up. There's nothing wrong with it. They won't kill you. They don't do anything. You see, and sometimes I feel that the reason why, for example, when you go to Nigeria and Kenya, and I hear some youth have gone to Kenya to first stand and come and pour in Ghana to invoke the spirit of Kenyans and Ghanaians to demonstrate and all that. It's just because there's boiled up emotions. You know, when your leader always do not give you the room to ventilate your point and to, pour out your anger and rant and all that, sometimes it gets in you there. So the least opportunity you get, you want to misbehave. So I think that our leaders need to open up, especially when a lot of these youth, and in fact, when you even read about Ghana's data report, let me just do a quick data and give you some. When you read Ghana's, there's a report that a company does every year. It's called Data Report, where they look at the internet penetration space of countries. Mm-hmm. When you read that of Ghana, it's loading. When you read that of Ghana, it presents you a very interesting nuance. There are 24 million internet users in Ghana. Mm-hmm. So if the youth says that the internet is a fundamental human right, they know what they are talking about. And let's not forget, if it's 24 million users, and we know that Africa's population, the youthful demographic is about 70. Yeah. So 70 of our 24 million is almost about 18 to 19 million. Youthful. And let's not forget, Ghana is home to 7.4 million social media users. It's huge. And there are also 39.95 million cellular mobile networks in Ghana.
So this is what they say about the smartphone usage. It says smartphone usage has increased with 2/3 saying that they use it for 3 or more hours a day. And the third are saying that they spend more time online than they would like to.
You see? So even parents, you can pick something from here. Read it again for me.
It says smartphones, the usage has increased with 2/3.
Pause there. So meaning that the increase, the increments in the usage of smartphones have gone up 2/3, 75%.
75%.
Okay, continue.
And they are saying that they use it for 3 or more hours a day.
Okay, so it means that out of the 24 hours, when your child sleeps for 8 hours, the 16 remaining hours, they spend at least 3 hours online. Online.
Is it productive 3 hours?
Exactly. So that's why I'm saying that even as a parent, the question comes in. Even as a political party, a question comes in that your campaign must be tailored towards the digital. Not just the traditional. So you see, there are various interesting nuances in some of these reports. What again that you say?
A third of them are also saying they spend more time online than they would like to. I think you're trying to talk about addiction of social media.
Yeah, they would like to. So meaning that ordinarily they would not like to do it, but they still do it. So it may be because of addiction, or it may be because they are not having alternative sources of getting information.
So social media apps are the most frequently used, and 3 in 5 say that online dating apps allow them to meet people they would have never met before, and over half say they would be open to meeting others through online dating.
Analyze that for me.
That is interesting. He said people that they would have never met before, and this is where the danger comes in with the use of social media, with the things that your kids are exposed to.
So you may be a parent, you are home thinking, oh, Kwame, did they be on the phone to a game? Or you hook up, sending nude pictures, sending nude videos. And before you've realized, you don't even know. And all these connections are happening on the phone. And what is the age demography of these youth again? 18 to 24. This is when they are completing SHS and transitioning into the university, national service, doing their first job. So these are the kinds of people in your Ghanaian perspective they spoke to. And they are saying that they are comfortable doing online dating. How many? What's the percentage of them?
It says 3 in 5. 3 in 5?
Yeah. 60%? Are comfortable having relationship conversations online, and 50% or what the figure are willing to meet new people.
Willing to meet people. That's 50%, and 60% says they met people they wouldn't have wished to meet, but through social media maybe they were exposed to those people.
So rape, abuse, all forms of drug use and all that has a certain linkage here. So finish the technology.
He says a similar proportions say it is ruining say it is ruining social media, social norms, and traditional dating, and just under half say their family will be accepting if someone they met through online, came through, and about ruining social norms, and now we have African men kneeling down and proposing to women. If you don't do that, it looks like you are not.
Is a coming in of the soap opera.
Yeah.
Let's go to the 12th one.
All right. So it says news and media.
Have you seen a trend that they spend more time on technology?
Yeah. There's a lot on technology.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology because that is where the world is moving, and that is
future.
where the Gen Zs are.
Yeah.
Okay. So
news and media. It says television remains the top source of information, but it's declining while Facebook remains in second, and it's climbing. So BBC and CNN are the most trusted news sources.
So again, we as the media, so Apuzo, Jimmy will be listening, Kwesichum will be listening. It tells you that the youth are telling us that the influence of the traditional media is coming down, and social media is taking over, particularly Facebook. And out of the top 2 news portals they source from, they are all foreign. The cable news network, CNN, and the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC. So there's no Africa news giant.
Yeah.
So multimedia should aspire to get there.
Yeah, I asked the question during the COVID time when everybody was looking at, what was going on, and then I asked. CNN and Fox are the voices for America, and when you go to Europe, we have BBC and then DW and all these things. China has CCTV, and then the Arab countries also has
Canada has one.
The Arabians also have Al Jazeera.
Yeah, France have France 24.
France 24. What does Africa have? Like when it comes to
Super Sports. we have Super Sport. We have Multimedia Group Limited.
I know, and of course, Multimedia Group Limited is doing very well, massively well in all the things that we are doing. But the thing is, on the world stage, do we have that?
So in some, you are trying a challenge to Kwesichum to Google.
Maybe, yeah.
Kwesi said, yeah. Let's go on.
So it says, televisions. So what on fake news? They said fake news is seen to be a serious problem as a range of organizations use it to advance their agendas, and over 3 in 5 worry about the impact of fake news and misinformation on upcoming elections.
So it tells you that fact checking in media is very important.
It's very important.
That the media, we are the bastion of these things, and we must check the information we churn out. Okay.
But I think nowadays, if people post stuff on social media and you go under the comments, you see people scrutinizing it and trying to correct the wrong. So I think people are conscious about that fake news, and it's a good thing. We just have to drum it home more.
So if you just tune in, this is Love 99.5. My name is Eugene Osei-Tutu. I'm having this conversation with Leo Stanley, my ringman, and we are discussing the 2024